Hello and welcome back to the Little Scale Cars YouTube channel. Today in the review box we have the McLaren Solus GT from Hot Wheels. This one debuted in the 2023 Q case. It is the final new casting for 2023 that I will be reviewing from Hot Wheels. So let's go ahead and take a closer look at this one and see if it is worth adding to your collections. So as always, let's go ahead and get started with our casting. So just a quick little spin around of our proportions, and we will see that while not horrible, the proportions could certainly have been a little bit better. It's a little bit squished in certain places, especially like back here, and then looking straight up front, again, a little bit squished looking. But honestly, not horrible. It's still very reminiscent of a Solus GT. You can definitely tell that that is what they were going for. When we get to the actual engineering of the casting itself, we've got three main parts. As always, we've got our base, which is where our diffuser and all of that is casted, well, not really casted, molded into, which looks really good. That comes down through here and up into the splitter section here. And then if you look, all of this inside piece here, this stuff sticking out over here, and then this extra bit right here, as well as the exhaust piece here, that is all the interior, which is really kind of a unique, cool way of going about that. It does, however, cost us to not have this be painted the same color as the body like it is in the real life car, so that's a little bit unusual. But as far as our casting itself goes, you know, our body lines, they're pretty good. They could possibly be a little bit better, but on the whole, it's still very nice. Not too shabby for a mainline Hot Wheels. Moving into our paint and deco. So we've got just this nice white with the green stripe going down the center. Perhaps not the most exciting or striking, but it is realistic to the kind of show car for this. Like we mentioned earlier, though, this section here should be white if we're going to replicate that show car perfectly. And then this tampo with the 91 on it should have been brought down the side, possibly the entire way, pretty much. Again, with the casting being a little bit shrunk in this area, that would have been a little tough. So maybe a little tweaking of the casting is what they could have done to allow that tampo to really be brought down there easily. But it's not horrible again. So details-wise, we have this little McLaren logo tampoed in up front. Now, our headlights should be about here and here, and they didn't give us anything there, which is a little bit disappointing, although with as small as they are, I'm not really too surprised or upset that they're not there, because they are tiny and they would have been hard to see anyway. However, if we make our way to the rear section here, we will see that our exhaust is on there and looking good. However, there is no taillights or any of the stuff that is on the back of this car. I'll go ahead and pop a picture of the rear end of this car up in the top right corner there, so you can kind of see what they could have added there and chose not to for some reason. Yeah, really not sure why they didn't. I guess they consider this to have been a tampo pass, that to be a tampo pass, and then this on the side to be a tampo pass, and that's our three sides, and that's why we can't get that. But in my opinion, we only got two tampo passes, a top and a side. We did not get anything in the rear, which we really should have gotten. Moving into our roll test, it's a Hot Wheels Mainline. It rolls silky smooth as always. We put this one on the scale, and it came out to be 32.8 grams, so it is a little bit on the lighter side for a mainline, but not too shabby considering the amount of metal that this casting has. Pros and cons time, as always, starting off with our pros. So the first big pro for this one is it is going to be the first McLaren Solus GT done in the 1/64th-ish scale. So that is really, really cool to see. If you want this car in 1/64th for your collection right now, this is your only option. And that kind of rolls us into our next big pro here. That being, this is a mainline release. You are only going to be spending about $1.25 on it. So you're not going to be breaking the bank to add this one to your collection. Going into our cons though, however, there are two big ones that we've touched on already. And the first one being the lackluster details. The back there just really needed something just to give it a little bit of a pop. especially since we didn't get the side piece painted like we should have, perhaps. And then that kind of leads us into the other one, being the lackluster casting. Again, it's not terrible by any means. It is clearly a McLaren Solus GT. However, it's just a little bit out of proportion in some spots, and that does create a few little hiccups visually, I would say. For some quick size comparisons, here we have it with some other McLaren models you might have in your collection, with the McLaren Elva from Hot Wheels, and the McLaren P1 GTR from CM model. And here we have it with some other track-focused hypercars you might have in your collection, with the Mini GT Bugatti Vision Gran Turismo and the poster cars Aston Martin Valkyrie. So that brings us into the final score and my overall thoughts and opinions. So I'm going to go ahead and give this one an 8.9 out of 10. I was extremely excited for this one. This, along with the Bugatti Bolide, were probably the two most anticipated castings for the year for me. I was extremely excited about them since they were first announced. And this one just left me feeling a little bit disappointed, but not terribly, so it still gets a decent score. In the end, this one is not bad, especially for the only $1.25-ish price point because it's a mainline, but it's that it really could have been a lot better, and we know that Hot Wheels is capable of better because we just saw it with the Bugatti Bolide release that they did. So that's another kind of crazy track-oriented supercar that we know that they executed very well. So it just kind of leaves you to wonder what kind of happened here. Why is the execution not as nice? So overall, I still am fairly happy with it. I still recommend this one to hardcore supercar fans and definitely hardcore McLaren fans. But to everyone else, I would say maybe wait for this one to go premium and see if that's any better. Or just wait for a premium brand like a Mini GT, an LCD model, CM model, something along those lines to give us this one and enjoy the kind of more details that the higher price point brings with it. And to just use this release maybe as a placeholder until one of those more premium brands tackles this car. Alrighty guys, that is going to do it for this review. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you leave a like, subscribe if you are new to the channel, and make sure you leave a comment down below telling me what your thoughts are on this particular model, and I will see you in the next video.